You're listening to The Taoist Corner with Patrick Stewart, Episode 35, The Art of Silently Crafting Lasting Influence. Please join me after today's post for extra author's commentary. Nothing is more annoying than walking across campus and seeing someone with a microphone yelling at a crowd of agitated college kids. During my time at the University of North Texas, the yeller was usually someone from Denton Bible Church, a prominent Christian church just a few minutes down University Drive. I remember one particular day when I decided to stop and listen instead of zoning out on my headphones, not like I could completely drown out his yelling with my iPod earphones anyway. The fastest way to gather a crowd of people around you is to talk about sex and how everyone is going to hell. It worked. Around 100 young adults gathered, leaving a large space for the speaker to pace around. Looking back, it reminds me of an internet troll in real life. For those who don't know, an internet troll is someone whose only purpose for commenting on content is to cause controversy. They may not believe their own message, but they might. That not knowing is part of the trick. So is making everybody mad. The more clicks and views the comment receives, the happier the troll becomes. The church speaker that day was in a similar position, although he was brave enough to show his face, albeit behind a pair of sunglasses and a cop standing next to him for crowd control. He complained about our sex lives and how we shouldn't have them, gay marriage, illegal in Texas back then, and the legality of abortion, the standard talking points for the Christian movement in 2005. After listening for a few minutes, I noticed my rhetoric professor was watching from the edge of our nearby language arts building. As a skilled and dangerous orator, I knew Professor Treat had opinions that didn't match the speaker's. I approached and asked, "Are you going to say anything to him? I'm sure you could talk circles around this guy, Professor." He glanced at me with a side eye and said with a chuckle, "No." "Why not?" I asked. "Because it won't serve a purpose," he said. Even if I said something he didn't know or proved a logical fallacy in his reasoning, he could just save face by lying about it or claiming, quote, God's will. And with that, Dr. Treat parted ways with the annoying speaker. I'll never forget that afternoon. In my agitated and excited state, I was ready for battle. Dr. Treat and I on one side and the annoying little man in sunglasses on the other. A battle of wits and brains. Looking back, I'm sure I would have made a fool of myself if I had engaged with the speaker. No one needs to stand on a sidewalk yelling their beliefs, hoping to convince someone of their worldview. You only need to lead by example. The people in your life, friends, family, coworkers, they already know you and your actions. If you want to share your beliefs or way of life with someone, put yourself into their world and let your nature shine through the haze. Laozi, the author of Tao Te Ching, the seminal text of Taoism, knew this and wrote about it in chapter 56. To discover how and why, I'll use Derek Lin's translation, which unpacks not only the words, but also the chapter's Chinese form. Let's get into it. Derek Lin. Those who know do not talk. Those who talk do not know. This is my favorite quote from the Tao Te Ching, but it's often used as a weapon online, especially in forums like Reddit. Anytime a learner expresses a belief, it's immediately met with this quote as a rebuttal. Online trolls use it as a kind of ace of spades, the instantly win playing card. However, as we read onward, the following lines allows us to see its true meaning, not as a weapon, but as guidance. Derek Lin. Close the mouth, shut the doors, blunt the sharpness, unravel the knots, dim the glare, mix the dust. This is called mystic oneness. The key in this verse is the repetitive direction to undo or lessen. Closed mouths, doors, dull, sharp tools, and more are just a few of the examples from 2,500 years ago. But can you think of others in your life that we can undo? Turn off your phone, put down your tablet, turn off your TV, and don't see that one friend who keeps convincing you to make decisions you always regret. So what is mystic oneness? The four symbols are shi, wei, that is, xuan, mysterious, tong, same. However, just as shi wei means that is when taken together, xuan, tong together represent a deep-rooted Taoist concept that are not meant as two distinct words. This oneness occurs when all forms of division are overcome, a state of profound unity. When we lose self-other, subject-object, good-bad, and other dualities, we align ourselves with the natural flow of Tao. Now that we understand oneness, let's revisit the first verse, but modify it with our new understanding. Those who know oneness don't speak of it, they live and feel it. Those who must talk to express oneness don't have it. They don't have it because words are not from the Tao. Words are simple sounds humans created for communication and coordination. A tree is not tree in the Tao. I know this is true because 1,000 languages call trees something else. If a name were universal, each language would maintain the word as its obviousness would be apparent. Derek Lin, they cannot obtain this and be closer. They cannot obtain this and be distant. They cannot obtain this and be benefited. They cannot obtain this and be harmed. They cannot obtain this and be valued. They cannot obtain this and be degraded. It's important to note that each translation of the above passage differs significantly from the others. Each translator attempts to, quote, bring the message home by adapting its meaning, particularly with the first line. Here are just a few examples. David Hinton, it can't be embraced and can't be ignored. Jia Fufeng, he who has achieved this state is unconcerned with friends and enemies. Stephen Mitchell, be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from. The Chinese does not contain the word for he, as in Jia Fufeng's, or Tao, as in Stephen Mitchell's. Notice the repetition of buke in each statement. Buke is a negating phrase that means cannot, not able to, or possible, and it begins each statement. Therefore, Derek Lin's comes the closest to its proper translation. Rephrased, it states that you cannot obtain oneness and be valued because there is nothing inherently or naturally valuable. If all is valuable to Tao, then nothing is valuable. You cannot obtain oneness and be disrespected because you do not consider yourself respected above others. The wise man, the person who follows Tao, sees things and people as they are. No good or bad, no me versus him, no mine or his. The sage knows this is true because the Tao shows him, but does not tell him. Derek Lin, therefore, they become honored by the world. Here, Derek adds a few extra words to prove the point. Literally, the phrase says, therefore, be all under heaven noble. When I move around the words to match English phrasing and remember the context of one who follows Tao, I can restate it as, therefore, everyone in the world considers him noble. I use him, but she or any singular pronoun can work too. Chapter 56 outlines how a person should live their life in relation to those around them, just as Dr. Treat taught me 20 years ago. Don't engage with your words. Engage with your mind. Be still. Open your heart, but not your mouth. Share what you have learned, but not by standing on a sidewalk and yelling. Lead through your kindness and hospitality. The irony of writing words to teach someone to stop using their words is not lost on me. However, we are all human. Language is how we communicate across long distances. In the end, the lessons from that day on campus, echoed by Laozi's wisdom in the Tao Te Ching, is clear. True influence comes not from shouting your beliefs, but from embodying them. Dr. Treat's restraint taught me that engaging with the troll, whether on a soapbox or a screen, often fuels their fire. Instead, live with quiet integrity, letting your actions radiate through the lives of those around you, aligning with the oneness of Tao. Dr. Treat was my favorite professor, and he almost convinced me to stay in college for graduate school, but instead, I chose to start a family and move away. We used to run into each other at bars on Friday nights and discuss Aristotelian logic, pick apart Hillary Clinton's speeches, or chat about ancient Greece and the sophists. I loved how he spoke, but more than his words, it was how he spent time with me and shared his journey. With a baby on the way with my 19-year-old pregnant girlfriend, I needed all the life advice he offered, one beer after another. I wonder if he knows how much those nights meant to me that semester. His quiet mentorship, from campus to barstool chats, taught me that the true influence flows from actions, not arguments. By embodying humility and connection, he showed me how to align with the Tao's oneness, a lesson I still carry today. Hey everyone, Patrick here. This article really came out because I was thinking about Dr. Treat. There was a moment just before I graduated where Dr. Treat called me into his office and asked me if I was doing grad school. I said no because I had a baby on the way and my kid was being born in July and it was already May, and so we were kind of running out of time. I just was ready to move on. I'd been in college for 7 years at that point and didn't like the town I was living in anymore and just really wanted to get away from it all. So I said no. He asked me if I would reconsider. He would sponsor me, which is something you needed from a professor to even apply for grad school at UNT. I thought about it for a day and then came back to him and said, no, thank you. But I always wonder, had I stayed, what would have happened? Would my career have taken a different path? Would I have lived in Denton and had my then girlfriend, now wife, move up with me? Who knows? I know my wife wanted to live in Denton for a while when we first started looking for houses, but I was still kind of jaded on the whole town. When it came to chapter 56, I know that the line, those who speak don't know and those who know don't speak, that is such a weapon to be used online. I see it all the time. I'm a moderator on the Taoism subreddit, and if you're not a regular Reddit user, just don't be. Just don't go. Well, if you do, just come to our Taoism and I'll make sure you're taken care of. It's so hard. There are 135,000 members on that subreddit, and it's almost like you can't say anything at all, ever. And I know that the text is true, but that's not what it means. It doesn't mean never share your ideas with someone. It means share your ideas with someone kindly and gently. And then if they rebuke you, if they have a different opinion or a different belief, accept that belief gently and calmly and think about it. Remember, everyone is moving through their own journey. Everyone is connected through Tao. If their journey has led them to this belief, then their beliefs are no more right or wrong than your beliefs. So use that as an opportunity to learn from them, to gain wisdom, to gain a new perspective on the world around you. If two people can see the same thing and live in the same world and then somehow make up their own understanding, both of those are valid and both of those can be real at the same time. It's okay. As Taoists, we don't shun the ideas of others. We read the Bible and we read the Quran and we read the Torah, and then we learn and gain everything we can. We allow it to influence us. And if we need to step away from labels or titles or belief systems, that's okay. You don't have to be a Taoist forever. You can grow and change and become whoever it is you need to become to be happy. So I hope as you listen to this, and if you read the article over on TaoistCorner.net, that your takeaway is to be accepting, especially when it comes to other people's religious beliefs. Don't bash them over the head. Don't stand on street corners. Share what you know calmly, and then let them share back. You want to encourage others to follow the Tao? I'd appreciate any support you can provide at any level that's comfortable to you. You can support me for as little as $1 a month or $10 per year. Just go to thedaoistcorner.net/80OFF. That's 80 off. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys next time.